www.whbc.com.
Live from the WHBC Broadcast Center. Find out more about area businesses, agencies, and events.
It's what's going on right now.
This is Spotlight.
And good morning, everyone, and welcome to Spotlight on this Wednesday morning. And again, as always, if you would like to check us out live on Facebook right now, you can do that. And also on our YouTube channel, just search YouTube for 1480 WHBC. And we'd love for you to join us like that. And also, if you don't get a chance to listen to the entire program, you can find it on YouTube or on Facebook later on as well. So today's Spotlight, we are bringing some great information to you about two wonderful entities joining forces in our community, EN-RICH-MENT and Bluecoats. And we're going to find out all about it and how that happened. And we have with us today Mike Scott, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Bluecoats. Hi, Mike. How are you?
Hey, Pam. Good to see you again. How are you?
Yeah, good to see you too. So since we last spoke, a lot has happened, hasn't it?
Sure has. Yeah, absolutely. We're really excited about the progress that's already been made. And, the result of that progress is this incredible building that we're going to talk about. And so really, so far, it's just been really great. And I'm so excited to talk with you about it.
All right, let's start first with EN-RICH-MENT. Many people know. I mean, I've talked to Betty Smith a lot on WHBC for all of the things that she's accomplished with EN-RICH-MENT. And then Bluecoats, you guys as well. You're an iconic institution in this area. So you guys are coming together.
Yeah, well, EN-RICH-MENT, it's just, it's a gem in Stark County and in Canton, like you say. And Betty Smith, the founder, she continues to have a vision for, free after school music and arts, weekend music and arts, summer music and arts programming, life skills classes. But since the founding of EN-RICH-MENT, the Bluecoats organization has always sort of viewed it very fondly, especially because so much of the program and really the face of the program has always been the drum line. In fact, a lot of people think about EN-RICH-MENT as just the drum line. They don't realize that the programming that the staff at EN-RICH-MENT is doing is so much more than that. But it's really cool that the drum line kind of became a bit of a mascot and kind of a flag in the community saying, look at this incredible institution we have that's providing all of these, wonderful programs to the young people in, primarily, urban neighborhoods in Canton. And so because of that, they have a drum line, we have a drum line, we kind of have this love for marching band, the marching arts, as some people call it. And so, we kind of reached out years ago, maybe 10 years ago, and said, hey, is there ways that the Bluecoats organization can, be friendly to EN-RICH-MENT, can help? And it started with things like, providing some guest staff members, once or twice a month. We have some really incredible national performance partners that provide Bluecoats with free instruments and, sponsors that provide free drum heads and things like that. Because like you said, we kind of have a national audience. So we were able to extend some of those things and help, hey, let's get you some new equipment. Let's get you some new drum heads, things like that. And so for many years, it was just a friendship like that. While EN-RICH-MENT continued to operate this incredible programming and fundraise, to put it on. We all know that the pandemic was really hard on all sorts of businesses, but especially in the nonprofit sector. And it was around that time that Betty and I started to have some more concerted conversations about ways that maybe Bluecoats and EN-RICH-MENT could be, even more helpful to one another and could be even more kind of integrated with one another. And we felt all along that it was important that the two organizations continued to be independent nonprofits. And so what we arrived to was affiliation. And affiliation is a way that two organizations, particularly two nonprofits, can align with one another in a way that, there's all sorts of great opportunities for resource sharing, for governance sharing, for fundraise sharing opportunities, things like that. And so long story short, we were able to make that happen. And the fruit of that is we were able to together work on this incredible new arts education center that we're building at the Canton Cultural Center for the Arts.
So for Bluecoats, does it change anything for you guys at all? I mean, as far as your performances go and all of that?
Yeah, for the drum corps itself, no. The Bluecoats organization has grown, beyond the drum corps in the last decade. We operate a 2-day summer camp for high school students. We have an online school where students can learn about marching band and our programming. We this year we're launching a middle school honor band that will happen in August, and middle schoolers can perform for a big audience at our big show that we have at the Hall of Fame. There's all sorts of other programming that we offer. And we think that this affiliation with Enrichment kind of adds to that spectrum of programming. So it's two organizations working together. In many ways, it's two organizations that are kind of creating the spectrum together. So a student, that might be picking up an instrument for the very first time in Canton, is going to Enrichment after school. And then there's a 21-year-old student at the other end of that spectrum who might be sort of at the end of their, kind of school career and who is performing for thousands of people all over the summer. And then we're hoping that we can kind of build everything in between as we continue to work together.
Yeah, because explain, just for maybe somebody who is just learning about Bluecoats, explain how you get your members.
Yeah, well, the drum corps itself, so students audition from all over the world. This year we had, I think, almost 1,500 students audition. So some audition from here in Ohio. We have remote satellite opportunities to audition in Atlanta and Los Angeles, and usually in Austin or Dallas, Texas. And then students audition virtually online too. So the Bluecoats, it's a highly successful drum corps, and so students, between the ages of 18 and 21 typically join. You could be as young as 14, but it's very difficult to get in because it's 1,500 students auditioning, and every year there's only 165 spots. So it ends up being sort of the honor of a lifetime. It's a little bit like becoming a Division I athlete for a student who might play football or soccer or baseball in college. This is that for marching band students. And then they go on a national tour after we spend 6 weeks here in Stark County at our spring training at Mount Union. So for that drum corps, the drum corps in particular, that's sort of like the top of the end of the spectrum,
Yeah.
But then we like to offer other programming, for maybe high school students in Stark County who want to come to a 2-day summer camp and spend time with the Bluecoats. They'll come. We call it the Blue Way Summer Arts Camp. It happens at Mount Union. That's 2 days, and then you could see, middle school students a couple years younger than that, and then Enrichment is students that are as early as, grade school students all the way through 18.
Yeah, I think that's what's so exciting about it. It's
Yeah.
just, so very awesome. And now, just has a big umbrella, and that's
That's our goal. There's strength in that. Enrichment can continue to be the wonderful independent organization that it is, and continue to be led by the community that leads it. But that together we can build this spectrum, that kind of creates a family of programs and these two nonprofits.
So you join together as a family,
Yes.
and Enrichment becomes an affiliate, and
Yes.
so now you need a space, correct?
Right. Right. Well, right around the time I mentioned the pandemic and the challenges that faced. And so our initial conversations about affiliation, or what, a deeper relationship could look like, were primarily centered around ways that we could, help Enrichment fundraise. We could help Enrichment, tackle big governance issues, things that take years and years of infrastructure building at a nonprofit to do. And so that was kind of our initial conversation. And then a pretty urgent need came up strategically, and that was, where was Enrichment going to be housed after 2025? So we were met with that challenge that Enrichment won't have access to its space after 2025. Where can we put Enrichment? And Enrichment had expanded actually into a couple of buildings. Enrichment is actually in a couple of spaces now because there's so many students coming through the program. So we said, okay, this is a big challenge, because now we're talking about a big fundraising. We're talking about finding a space. We're talking about buying property. We're talking about, making 30 multi-generational commitments to space. This is big for any nonprofit, regardless of size. And it's the first time that even, Bluecoats, an organization of our size, was tackling something like this. So we put together community leaders. We have an incredible board member who was, he's actually a predecessor of mine, was the director in the 1980s, Ted Swaldo, who many people know.
Yeah.
And we talked to leadership at Arts in Stark. We talked to leadership in the philanthropic community in Stark County. And we talked to the leadership in Enrichment, and we said, okay, what's on our list here? What can we do? And what do we need to build? And of course, we looked at a variety of options, but what we settled on, I think, is really beautiful in that it touches so many strategic goals, I think, for the entire arts, culture, and nonprofit community in Canton. Arts and Stark said, "Hey, the Ziegler Tire Building is about to become available. It's on the campus of the Cultural Center. Better place. What better place for a bunch of young students kind of beginning their arts and music career than right on the campus of the Cultural Center?" Um, and it's larger than you might think. For those of you that drive past it, it's on the corner of 9th and Market, right there at the corner of the Cultural Center. And most people see just sort of the facade of the tire building, but there's actually a huge, what used to be a tire warehouse attached to the back of it. And so the building is more than 13,000 square feet all told. We're adding a small addition to it. And we said, hey, look, this is perfect. Arts and Stark is building a park just next to it, next door. And a lot of enrichment programming happens in the summertime. So we have sort of this indoor-outdoor space. And next, of course, we needed fundraising. And so, we went to many of the largest foundations in Stark County and the Stark Community Foundation. And we said, look, we've got a way to give these kids a home for years and years and years, and a way for this programming to become permanent, and a way for these students and this organization to leverage this building to continue to expand its programming. And the philanthropic community in Stark County said, wow, this is great. Let's support this. And so that, coupled with Ted's leadership and dozens and dozens and dozens of contractors and suppliers saying, we would love to support this. We would love to help make this a reality also. And so all together, we've been able to get this project going. And it's just incredible, the pace. I mean, Ted rolled up his sleeves and is basically doing it himself with some of the incredible people that help him. And, just the immense amount of work that's being done to get this done on time so that we can have it in time for students to use it this summer is just incredible. Every time I go over there and I see these contractors working and just the labor of love that it is, it's incredible to watch them work. And we're so supportive, or so thankful to them.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And we're gonna take our first break here. And when we come back, I want to talk more about what'll be in the building, how you're going to utilize it, and more about the mission here as we talk about enrichment and Bluecoats coming together for this community. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful affiliation, and we will do that right here on Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
Live and local.
How's that sound?
And you're listening to News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Join the cause to bring arts education to the kids of Canton. EN-RICH-MENT offers free music lessons, art, cooking, dance, choir, gardening, media production, theater and drumline workshops, and instruction to youth ages 5 to 18. And now we're building a forever home for the after-school, summer, and weekend programming so that we can serve even more of Canton's young people with free arts and life skills experiences. Learn more and donate at enrichmentcampaign.org. That's enrichmentcampaign.org. Whether you are a lifelong churchgoer or this is your first experience into a faith community, Christ Presbyterian Church invites you to join them for a very special worship hour each and every Sunday on 1480 WHBC. Christ Presbyterian has served the community of Canton for more than 200 years as a beacon of hope to the hopeless, pointing toward Jesus, who is the way, the truth, and the life. Be sure to tune in every Sunday morning at 10:30 for the Cathedral Hour, live from Christ Presbyterian Church in downtown Canton on 1480 WHBC.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Free and easy. That's our website, WHBC.com.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
And welcome back to Spotlight on this Wednesday morning. Again, live on Facebook, live on YouTube. You can check us out there. We'd love for you to do that as well. And we're talking about enrichment and Bluecoats. And I have with me this morning Mike Scott, who is Chief Executive Officer of Bluecoats. And we've been talking about the two entities coming together, which has been a pretty important thing. And I look at it, Mike, and I think about Bluecoats, and I think about kids sitting in the stands and watching Bluecoats over the years, even at Centennial Plaza. You know, when that was created, and you guys decided to start that, going to Centennial Plaza and performing. There's so many kids out there who are watching that and thinking, I want to do that. I want to do that. And now this is just another way for them to be able to start learning, even if they're not, stepping into that big audition just yet.
Yeah. One of my favorite parts of, the job is seeing, kids in the stands or kids watching rehearsal. Kids love to come watch rehearsal. We do 6 weeks of rehearsal here in Stark County, and there's always high school kids in the stands watching rehearsal. And it's a dream for many students. There's just such a value in marching band for a young kid. There's just so much to learn. And I think sometimes we don't talk about just sort of the value of that. And I think that's also why so many kids are drawn to the enrichment drumline, whether or not they know about the Bluecoats or even care about even care about us. There's something that's inherently kind of exciting for a young kid to pick up a drum, and even outside of marching band, to pick up a guitar, or to start dancing, or to do theater, or to get into pottery. And enrichment has offered so many of those things. And one of the huge strengths, I think, of the enrichment organization is that Betty and Aurora and the staff there, when a student comes and says, hey, I'd really like to do this, they do whatever they can to say, okay, we're going to does that, or we're going to do that once a week, or we're going to make that happen for you, because that's an interest that you have. And it's always been so student focused in that way. And that was always something that stood out to us at the Bluecoats organization is, this is really a community-led organization that says, hey, we're going to find a place for every student that comes through our doors. That's why this building is so powerful, I think, because it's a place, it's a place for these students, and it's right in the center of our community at the Cultural Center. So I'm really excited about that, because like I said, one of my favorite parts of the job is seeing students who are inspired by this. And this is just another way, like you said, for kids to get involved.
Yeah. And when they have their own space, their own official spot, a place, that makes it just really cool as well. So tell me about the actual building. I mean, it's like you said, it's much larger than people realize that it is. Yeah. In what ways will it be utilized inside when you walk in?
Well, when I first took a tour of the empty space right after Ziegler Tire moved out, I was just shocked at the space and immediately thought, wow, we're going to be able to do so much here. And the team at Modern Meadows was, of course, great. They've always been so supportive of enrichment and the programming. And they said, hey, we're gonna work on this for you, and we're gonna make this happen. And the plan that they put together, I think, in the first draft is so close to what we have ended up doing. We've been able to build a space for almost every single program that enrichment is currently or planning to operate, and through this entire project, strategically, we've had wonderful conversations with arts and who has said, hey, we also have this great facility right next door. You're on the campus. So anything that you can't fit in the building, we'll make work using facilities inside the cultural center. So in that building there, in the new building that we're building, there are 3 or 4 multi-purpose classrooms, one dedicated to kind of a homework lab with computers that are being donated. There's an art studio. It's a beautiful, big art studio dedicated to just the art classes. There is a large music ensemble room that'll be home of the drumline and other of the large music ensemble spaces. There's a small music ensemble room, things like drum set classes, keyboard lessons, things like that. There's a beautiful dance studio. It'll be lined with mirrors and have a dance bar and a beautiful elevated dance floor, as well as a changing room for dance. There's 3 practice rooms that are actually, they're like oversized practice rooms, so they could be used for small group instruction, 3 or 4 students and a teacher. They could also be used for private practice for a student that's coming in to practice their violin or their scales on piano or whatever. And there's also a sensory room for students on the autism spectrum that's being donated by Schumacher Homes that we're very grateful for. And it's like double layers of drywall. It's air gapped. It has a special framed in ceiling. It'll have lights that don't make a buzz. So it's being built kind of to all the standard specifications of a sensory room, so that students have a place to go. So we're excited about that as well. So really, truly, we've really rolled up our sleeves, and Ted and Jeff Dahl, the team, Modern Meadows, have really worked really hard to kind of build everything that Enrichment, has said, hey, we'd love to have this. Hey, we'd love to have this. And I've really enjoyed watching Betty in particular, kind of get to say, like, this is the vision that Enrichment has, that we have for these students. And let's build a space for this, and let's build a space for that. And so we're excited about that. It's also an upgrade for Enrichment and the staff. It's office space too. It's, there's a cubicle pen. There's offices, there's a community room that we plan to make available to other nonprofits in downtown Canton. There's a kitchen. The kitchen is also convertible into like a teaching kitchen, because they also do home ec classes, and they do creative cooking classes for the young students to, learn how to make a meal after school or something like that. So anyway, I feel like we've thought of a lot of things. And when I say we, I mean certainly not me, because so many people that have been more creative and more wonderful at building and development projects like this have worked so hard to make this a perfect forever home. We're excited about it.
And honestly, Betty Smith has to just be over the moon, but also overwhelmed by all of this. She's just got to be.
It's hard to get her overwhelmed. She is such a hard worker. I think anyone who knows her knows just how she pours her life into this project. And she's just, yes, I think, but she's also, I think she's a bit. I think she feels a bit satisfied knowing that finally there will be this place. It's going to say Enrichment on the door, and it's going to be a forever home. So we're really excited for her for that, because none of this would be possible without her vision and her, doing the hard work of 12 or 13 years ago saying, hey, I'm going to do this. And here we are today. So it's incredible.
And there's a lot of other community entities who are making donations and helping out with this as well, when you were talking about Schumacher Homes and things like that.
Yeah, well, and we're so grateful, to the foundations who have supported it, to, like I mentioned, the contractors who have supported it. We've got a big job ahead of us, and that is cataloging all of the donations. It's incredible from, someone who, there's organizations that have made, large 6-figure gifts. And there's contractors who have said, hey, this is 30% off. This is 50% off. Hey, I want to send my guys to do this job for free. Hey, I want to donate computers. The list is so long. There's people that have donated just $25. Hey, I really want to help. Or, hey, can I give you a monthly gift for a couple years? The list is long and vast, and we're just so grateful for that.
Are you still taking donations, I'll ask?
We are. In fact, we've got about a $200,000 gap to close still to get this project across the finish line. So we've set up a campaign website where people can kind of learn more about the building, and they can make a donation. That's enrichmentcampaign.org. Like I said, we've got a $200,000 gap to close. So we're grateful for every contribution that is made. Okay,
very good. Enrichmentcampaign.org.
Yes, exactly right. And if someone wants to learn a little bit more about the programs of Enrichment, it should be linked there from the website, but they're enrichment.org with hyphens, EN-RICH-MENT.
Okay, very good. We're going to take a break for the news right now, and we'll come back. We'll talk more about enrichment and Bluecoats on Spotlight right here on 1480 WHBC.
Canton Kid Fest, the biggest family event of the year, is coming back to the Canton Civic Center March 30th. Save that date. It's a huge indoor event for and about kids. Brought to you by Wishes Can Happen. A bunch of new fun stuff is coming too. Details on 1480 WHBC and WHBC.com very soon.
Join the cause to bring arts education to the kids of Canton. Enrichment offers free music lessons, art, cooking, dance, choir, gardening, media production, theater and drumline workshops, and instruction to youth ages 5 to 18. And now we're building a forever home for the after-school, summer, and weekend programming so that we can serve even more of Canton's young people with free arts and life skills experiences. Learn more and donate at enrichmentcampaign.org. That's enrichmentcampaign.org.
If you're thinking of buying a water softener, make Ferndale Water Center your first stop. Take advantage of 0% financing for 2 years. For clean, clear, great-tasting water, call Ferndale's water experts today.
Ferndale's Water Center.
WHBC AM 10, reliable as ever on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
From the News Talk 1480 WHBC newsroom, Ohio Lieutenant Governor John Husted announced the launch of the Ohio Career Navigator. It's a new tool meant to serve as a central place for people to obtain in-demand skills, advance their education, and achieve their career goals. The Career Navigator brings resources from multiple state agencies into one place, making the process of finding relevant information faster and easier. To get started, anyone using the service will have to complete a survey. Then they'll be connected to personalized resources. The Biden administration has taken another step in its fight against junk fees. They announced a cap on all credit card late fees yesterday. The proposed cap would be $8 instead of the average $32. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the move could save Americans $10 billion. Did you have apps and pancakes joining forces on your 2024 bingo card? Well, probably not, but here we go. Applebee's and IHOP, both owned by Dine Brands Incorporated, have already tested 8 prototype locations around the world, combining the 2 restaurants into one with a shared dining area. The company says the test locations made twice as much money as standalone Applebee's and IHOP locations. And the company said on its earnings call that the company may be launching the combo concept soon. IHOP Corporation agreed to buy Applebee's for around $1.9 billion back in 2019. In sports, thanks to the heroics of Dean Wade, the Cleveland Cavaliers came back from double digits down to stun the Boston Celtics last night, 105-104. Cavs are at Atlanta tonight. In girls' high school basketball action last night, Lake lost to Medina in a close one, 52-50. I'm Pam Cook.
Your severe weather station, News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Here's your AccuWeather forecast. Cool and cloudy this afternoon with a high of 52. Low clouds for tonight with a low of 40. Sunny to partly cloudy tomorrow with a high 58. Thickening clouds for tomorrow night with a low of 40. And mostly cloudy Friday with a passing shower and a high 62. Get your weather news when and how you want it wherever you are. Download our free app or visit AccuWeather.com. I'm Gregory Patrick for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Call Crown Heating and Cooling today. With Crown, estimates are always free. Let them show you how much you can save when you trust the carrier experts at Crown. Call 330-499-4988 or visit them on the web at crowngroupohio.com. Ohio license number 27133. Medicine Center pharmacies have been serving our local community for over 40 years. Our customers know they can count on our pharmacy staff, save money, and trust us. Stop by any of our Medicine Center pharmacy locations in Canton, Louisville, Minerva, and New Philadelphia, or visit us online at medshoprx.com.
This Saturday night, for one night only, the Canton Palace Theater features the cult classic, The Big Lebowski, on the big screen. When the dude Lebowski is mistaken for a millionaire, anything can happen. Get your tickets now at cantonpalacetheater.org.
The Giannino's Pizzeria Proper Parlay Bet of the Week. Listen Tuesdays to the Kenny and JT Show. We'll pick a game and a caller and give you a chance to win a $25 gift certificate to participating local Giannino's Pizzerias.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
And welcome back to Spotlight here on 1480 WHBC, live on Facebook and also on our YouTube channel. So we hope you check us out there. And we have been talking about the coming together of EN-RICH-MENT and also of Bluecoats. And we're going to continue to do that. And we have with us the Chief Executive Officer of Bluecoats, Mike Scott. So Mike, let's talk about the plan to get into the building now. And how that's all going to play out this spring and summer.
Yeah, you know, the timeline's been absolutely incredible. It was just late this summer that we said, hey, let's do this, from having $0 devoted to the project and no site. Miraculously, and thanks to the incredible work of all the people working on this project, I think we're going to be We're going to be moving in the staff and students of EN-RICH-MENT in May. Which is just an incredible timeline. That's going to be just in time for the EN-RICH-MENT Fine Arts Summer Camp, which puts several hundred students in both grade school, middle school, and high school through programming in the summertime, a few days a week. That will start, I believe, in early June. So they'll be in the brand new space for that. And then we're going to kind of do a big grand opening for this. We're kind of making breaking news here. I don't think we talked about it publicly, but June 30th, we'll have a grand opening and a big celebration. And thank you for all the donors. We're going to be sending information out to all the donors about that probably later this month with a save the date and things like that. We're very excited about that. And that actually is the same day, Pam, as you mentioned, Bluecoats Party in the Plaza. So that will sort of be an opportunity for us to publicly talk about the wonderful building. And we're going to work on a couple of open house opportunities for people in the community to come and walk through the building and see all the incredible spaces that have been created for these kids.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, we're very excited about it. And the timeline has just been amazing. And one of the things that is cool about it, particularly for the summer camp, is, you know, Arts and Stark is building this pocket park also there on 9th Street. So our building is 9th and Market, and then 9th and Cleveland. This is kind of where Cleveland and Market come into the one block size as they go into downtown. They are, so it will kind of create this apron that's kind of the introduction to the Cultural Center campus, this park and this Arts Education Center. And the park, we were able to do this all such that we've been able to kind of make the landscaping for the park go right around the building. So the building will kind of be nestled in the park. So I'm particularly excited to walk around there in June when the summer camp's happening, because the building will be full of kids and the park will be full of kids and the campus will kind of come alive with all these young people that are, you know, doing music and arts and dance and things like that. I'm really excited about that, because I think it has ended up being sort of this perfect introduction to the campus, this sort of space devoted to community and to young people. I think it's great.
Yeah, and that area needs that. It's always had its attractions and has been great for the arts community. But to add that to it is going to be, I love that.
It's 2 blocks that represents the Palace Theater, the library, this EN-RICH-MENT Arts Education Center, this park, and of course the Cultural Center houses all of these other wonderful nonprofits and wonderful institutions. The museum, the ballet. It's going to be really great. I think it's a really great multilateral kind of opportunity for the community.
And Arts and Stark, I mean, that's another big portion of all of this, right?
Yes, we have to give so much credit to Arts and Stark. We said, hey, we've got a strategic problem here. We need a home. The place that they're in right now, which is also on the Arts and Stark Cultural Center campus, isn't going to work after 2025. We all know that. What can we do? And they said, well, there's this other building on our campus. They own the facility. They said, let's make this happen. They worked with us at every step when it came to integrating the park into this plan. They worked with us at every step when it came to making this building happen. Bluecoats has signed a long-term lease on the building, and we're managing the the renovation and expansion of the building. The current space that EN-RICH-MENT has is an old church, and so there's like a theater space, right? Like the previous like altar space is the stage, and there's pews that have become the seats, and so it's this large practice space, but it's also a space where they do their theater, and so we're losing that. And we said, well, there's a couple of things that EN-RICH-MENT has kind of built their programming around that we're losing in this new building. What do we do about that? And they said, oh well, this is a campus-wide project, so let's make the cultural center theater available. There's a couple of black box theaters. Let's use some of those spaces. And so we've been able to work with the Arts and Stark scheduling team to say, hey, during the summer camp, during theater, during whatever, can we make this work? Even things as simple as we thought about maybe putting a kiln in the new building, for pottery firing. But then we found out that the Canton Museum of Art has a kiln. And so, we reached out to them and said, hey, you have a kiln. We don't need to put another kiln on this campus. Can we use yours? And they said, of course, absolutely. We'll make that available to you. So there's been created so many opportunities, both for Arts and Stark and other resident organizations of Arts and Stark to, come work with us on making this, a really beautiful project for these kids.
That's amazing. That's
yeah.
When you look at all of that stuff, and like I said, when kids come to a place that is like that, they have their spot, they have all of this available to them, and it's not just this one room and they're all going in. It makes a difference. I think it makes a big difference in a learning atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely. It's somewhere to be, which is such a thing that kind of all humans crave, I think, And I remember when I was a high school student or a college student, like going to a practice room, going to the band room, going to, a theater space, like those, that meant a lot to me. It's people that, are also interested in the things you're interested in. And it's a place to be. It's a feeling of kind of sanctuary. It's a place to express yourself. Those are such important things for young people to experience, I think. And I think it really speaks to our community, meaning the Canton community, the Stark County community, that for years and years and years, we've supported the arts in such a meaningful way. Arts and Stark is a gem in our community, the cultural center. I mean, how lucky we are for a community of our size to have this amazing space that we've continued to invest in over the years. The Arts and Stark campaign for the arts has always been such a successful thing in our community that has said, hey, we want to support this. This community has rallied around EN-RICH-MENT for so many years and made it work. EN-RICH-MENT spends every penny that it raises on programming. And that speaks to the fact that the community continues to support it. So it's been truly kind of an honor of my career to be kind of at the center of this and watch so many people support this, so many people come behind this, so many people leading these wonderful agencies and institutions, Arts and Stark, EN-RICH-MENT, the foundations that have supported this. It's been a privilege for me to watch it all happen.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I've been here a very long time, but I remember, back in the day when I first arrived, I was in my 20s, late 20s, and I thought, wow, this is a lot for a town this size, and it continued to grow and was continued to be supported, heavily supported, I might add,
Yeah, absolutely. And like we were talking about maybe before the break, this is really expanding the campus in a way, in so many ways, this is a project about these kids. But having a program that supports young people like this is also good for its community. This is going to put these kids at the center of this campus. It's going to enliven the campus. It's going to make the park feel alive. And it's going to hopefully, and we know this is true, this is an experience for so many young people in the arts. It's building future leaders of our community. It's building, a sense of community for these young students and a sense of ownership of their community in a way that is going to pay dividends, I think, to Canton and Stark County also.
Spreads the word too. Hey, guess what I get to do? Why don't you come with me? Kind of thing.
Absolutely. And we're hoping that, we want, there's so many ways, I really enjoyed having the opportunity to sit more in meetings of arts or of EN-RICH-MENT leadership. Through the process of this affiliation, I've gotten to know, EN-RICH-MENT leadership so much more and gotten to kind of listen in on their strategic thinking about how they can continue to build this, this agency that supports its community. And hearing them talk about all the ideas that they have, both encompassing the building and also, even bigger ideas than that, how we can utilize after school transportation to get more kids, particularly in Canton City schools, to the after school programs. How we can leverage the building to build new programming or build programming that matches other student needs, and, caseworking needs. And, I think I mentioned this, but, there's a space dedicated to kind of homework and tutoring in the building, how that will, make it possible for students to come right after school, do their homework, and then go to their guitar lesson or whatever that might be. There's just so many great ideas about how we can get more kids in the building. And this building does increase capacity of enrichment. It most certainly does. It's larger space. Like I said, it's, all in, I think it's almost 15,000 square feet. There's spaces that we say, oh, we'll use that for this right now, but, it can be expanded and used more days of the week for, certain rooms and things. It's going to increase capacity. And so I'm really looking forward to putting, to seeing more and more students get through this program, because I've seen the value of enrichment programming, just in meeting the wonderful kids that are going through the program. And by the way, meeting young people who go through the program and then come back and devote their young life to, becoming teachers, becoming volunteers. There are so many students who now are back at enrichment working and volunteering. I think that's a huge testament to the success of the program.
Yeah, that's awesome. And this might be a silly question, but and maybe it hasn't happened yet, but do you see, kids who maybe enter into enrichment for the drumline and because they like that and think that's cool, but then they look and see the connection of the drumline to Bluecoats and say, oh, maybe have not realized that before.
Yeah, maybe potentially, I think we want to, continue to the enrichment drumline, and they have a burgeoning color guard program also. We've already invited them, they come to our show, they come to the the Blue Way Summer Arts Camp. We offer them kind of free passes to come attend, all or part of that. So there's already opportunities, that we've been taking advantage of, and we'll continue through, this affiliation and our closer relationship. Some of the students might find it interesting. Other of the students might say, hey, look, I'm just interested in this and having fun with my friends. And that's okay too. We're not necessarily trying to say, hey, now you're going to be in the Bluecoats. That's not what we're looking for.
Right.
Because, there's value in the program that they have and in what they're already doing. And that's kind of our primary focus. Where there is, I think, a lot of opportunity is just through resource sharing. And I think I mentioned this before, we have these incredible performance partners, some of the largest, music manufacturing companies in the world. Support us because of our endorsement, because we're, a nationally recognized world championship drum corps. And so they, companies like Evans Drumheads and Tama Percussion, Innovative Percussion, they supply us free instruments and equipment. And of course, we've said, hey, we've got this great program, students that are in drumline or in color guard or things at enrichment, would you support that? And of course, without question, they say, yes, absolutely. Oh. How can we help? And that's, I think, a great opportunity because regardless of whether or not a kid has, aspirations of doing drum corps one day, a brand new pair of sticks is just such a cool experience for a young person, and to know that, oh, hey, this company wants to support me in my future. I think that's really cool. So I think that's a really great opportunity that we see and that we're working hard on every day.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, we're going to take our final break, and then we'll come back and recap everything that we've been talking about this morning. Such a great collaboration between enrichment and the Bluecoats, and we will finish up here on Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
High school sports. This is the right place. News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Join the cause to bring arts education to the kids of Canton. EN-RICH-MENT offers free music lessons, art, cooking, dance, choir, gardening, media production, theater and drumline workshops, and instruction to youth ages 5 to 18. And now we're building a forever home for the after-school, summer, and weekend programming so that we can serve even more of Canton's young people with free arts and life skills experiences. Learn more and donate at enrichmentcampaign.org. That's enrichmentcampaign.org.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single-line 5 GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single-line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
Are you over 30 and putting off life insurance? It's time to get a quick quote from Ethos, a better, easier way to get term life insurance, all online with no medical exam. Answer a few health questions and you could be approved for up to $2 million. Isn't it worth 10 minutes to help protect your family's financial security? Ethos, up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Now back to Spotlight on 1480 WHBC.
All right, we are wrapping up our Spotlight this morning, our final segment, as we continue to fill you in on all the wonderful things that are happening as the collaboration between EN-RICH-MENT and Bluecoats, the affiliation of EN-RICH-MENT with Bluecoats happening right here in Canton, and so many wonderful things with the new location, a new building something special for sure. And the CEO of Bluecoats, Mike Scott, has been with me this morning. And Mike, if someone wants to get involved in EN-RICH-MENT, or they want to make a donation, all of those things, how can they go about doing that?
The best place to start right now is enrichmentcampaign.org. That's the website that we've built about this project. It talks about our affiliation between Bluecoats and EN-RICH-MENT. It talks about the building. It talks about our vision for kind of the broader strategy of the building, the affiliation, the future of the programming. That's a really great place to start. And that's also where you can make a donation. I think I mentioned before, but we've got about a $200,000 gap to close. The building is beautiful and it's well apportioned. It has everything that this is ever going to need. And we're trying to make sure that we cross the finish line knowing, hey, look, now we've built something that's going to last for 30 years for these kids. So we need all the help we can get to get across that finish line. And I would really appreciate anyone, a donation, small or large, doesn't matter to us. That's also a great place where you can learn a little bit more about EN-RICH-MENT and their website through there and learn how to volunteer. Maybe you're interested in volunteering. EN-RICH-MENT needs, volunteers for after school teaching. It needs teachers. It needs, there's office work to be done. There's all sorts of stuff. So, but I would start at enrichmentcampaign.org.
Okay, great. And then for the kids who become a part of enrichment, how do they get involved? The kids just, are they chosen, or how does that work?
So enrichment, there's three types of programming in enrichment. There's after school, there's workshops, which is maybe one night a week plus weekend opportunities, and there's the enrichment fine arts summer camp. So a student that might want to do some after school programming and go take an art class after school, go do drumline lessons or something else, they could sign up for after school classes. A student that might want to be in the drumline or join the concert band program or something like that, those are the workshops. And then, of course, in the summertime, there's 6 weeks of programming that can happen all during the summer. So whether that's the kid or that's mom or dad saying, hey, why don't you go here after school and get out of my hair for a little while? You can sign up for those classes at enrichment.org. And there's hyphens in that. It's EN-RICH-MENT. And you can learn more about the class schedule and all the programs offered. I think someone who might know about enrichment because they see the drumline bopping around town, I think they might be surprised to see just the depth of programming, creative cooking, art, private lessons on instruments, concert band, drumline, color guard, dance, theater. There's just so many opportunities for students, and a student who might have an interest or want to explore what their interest might be, a kid who might be artistic or musical or something like that, and say, I don't really know what it is. Enrichment is a great place to come and to learn maybe more about what might scratch their itch when it comes to their creative, sensibilities.
And all of that is going to be taking place in that new building.
Yes, now it's all going to be housed under one roof. I think I mentioned to you, there's a community room and an attached commercial kitchen, and the kitchen can even be adapted as a classroom. So the whole space is dedicated to student learning, whether it's, learning how to cook a great meal, whether it's learning how to play guitar, whether it's, like I mentioned, pottery. There's a space carved out in the building for all of that. And I think, if you're watching on the live stream, you can see the rendering of the building, and there's going to be windows all along Market. And so I'm really looking forward to driving down Market one day and seeing students in the, playing drumline in the large ensemble room, and seeing, kids in the community room taking a class. It's going to be so great that the campus is coming alive, and this building is going to have a space for all these kids.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful. Absolutely. And speaking of that, the live stream, if you missed any of this past hour, go back and watch, and you can hear more information about how to get involved, and the websites. Enrichmentcampaign.org is where you can make a donation, and enrichment with the hyphens, EN-RICH-MENT. You can go .org. You can go and learn more about the programs. And we would love for you to do that. I'm so glad you came on today, Mike. This was a great opportunity for everybody to learn not only about enrichment, but also about the Bluecoats and all the things that you guys have planned. I know we'll see you guys out and about through the summer, and I can't wait to go take a walk up through the campus. That's going to be great.
Yeah, I can't either. Thank you, Pam. It's been great to talk to you, and we're really excited about this, both the Bluecoats organization and enrichment organization. I can't wait for it, and I think it's also just the beginning of a really long and wonderful future for this kind of spectrum of programming. I'm really excited about it.
Absolutely. We'll talk again soon.
Much, Pam.
Join the cause to bring arts education to the kids of Canton. Enrichment offers free